exactly. I'm going to record. Yeah, let's not start smoking and just pick up cigarette butts instead. But yeah, I think there's some really cool connections there. So we'll see what happens. Where this goes, what I tried to do this weekend was go through the, sorry, I'm going to mute you, Tyler, just because of the little beautiful back chatter. It's going to take me off into a completely different space and I won't want to work. I'll talk about kids instead. So I went through the other meetings. You know, we've been working on this a little bit on Miro board, still working on it. And then we're at today's state with the agenda. And Kareem, you're just jumping in here, totally, you know, amateurs at this event planning. We're all experts in other areas except event planning. And we're doing some, I think, some pretty amazing things considering. So, and I'm not really.
If my event planning skills help, I'll be sure to chime in. I'm still just getting a feel for the group and seeing how I can contribute.
Yeah, no, really appreciate that. Any contributions really welcome. So are there any other announcements? We've kind of chit-chatted for a little bit. And then this is what the agenda looks like right now, is to review the previous agendas. I've made a few little notes in the side about what was said. Tyler, or Abe had mentioned Alexa, and I totally forgot that that was on the agenda to begin with. We can review the Miro board. We have the slide deck I started, and again, it's just something that's kind of fun to play with. Create and update working documents for event planning. I know a lot of people like to work on a Word document. We've gone to a slide, a Miro board, and a Word document that I don't believe we've started for this event, unless it's somewhere I don't know about. And then I've also got this form for getting feedback that I wouldn't mind looking at. Are there anything else that we need to add to the agenda?
Do we want to talk about Twitter space at all?
Advertising, yes. See, that's why I need you guys. And then we also should be talking about timing. Like, are we going to, when is the event? Maybe get a good idea on that. Anything else I've missed?
The timing piece, that might be a good chance to talk about the idea of maybe a Twitter space as a secondary option for the 31st.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this, I think the flow of this is pretty good. We can review what we've done, what we've got, and where we're headed. Does that make sense for the order of this? Any objections? And Yoram, oh, somebody's working in the chat here. Okay, very responsible with the butts. There we go. Ask for your tenants' cigarette butts. Anything else? Okay, and I'm not actually, again, not an expert host, but I'm going to do this. So, previous agenda, Pike in Malawi. This feels to me like something we are going to be hopefully working on in this event, is figuring this out. We have somebody working on the ground doing something pretty cool, and I don't want that to be forgotten in the event. We had a suggestion of an order, plastic collection, recycling, fashion pollution, mushrooms and plastic, Apocalypsea NFT soft launch, and also collaborating with Vinay and Kanma, which I was supposed to speak to with this weekend, but I haven't been able to, so it's been a busy time. Anything else from the agendas that I'm missing that maybe somebody else has remembered that didn't get added in the last couple weeks.
Yeah. No, where are we with the launch of the NFT? So this will be the, which one it will be? The recycle, repurpose, or reduce the plastic. So there we are launching the NFT.
Where it is in the plan itself, in the event,
Yeah.
I don't have that figured out yet. That's still
Okay.
pretty flexible. It's just a matter of figuring out the subjects or topics that we're dealing with first, getting the speakers on board, and then trying to figure out, this is the way I see it, you know, get the topics, the speakers, and then make the connections through them. Because one thing that Tyler had mentioned about the last event, you know, he felt like there wasn't a big enough connection to Cardano. And this event, we shouldn't have any problem because we've got NFTs for funding. We've got transactions for that will show transparency, especially if we can work with anything practical like Pike's group. We've also got Elias receiving funding from Catalyst, which ties in Cardano, and Damian with Cardano trees and the NFTs. So, you know, there should be a pretty good connection to make sense of it. So anything else on the agenda? This is just reviewing the previous agendas. So I think in other meetings, you'd go accept the previous agenda and move on. I know I'm not doing it that way though, so kind of off the cuff. The other one that we can look at is going to be the Miro board, which is a total mess at this point, but it's been left because for some reason we had a whole bunch of other things to do, like writing proposals and stuff. So this one I feel like will be organized. Last week's agenda, we had discussed organizing that Miro board into these topics, possibly identifying using citizen science, reducing the plastic that we actually bring in, recycling it and replacing plastic, and supporting projects. Identifying is also Plastic Ocean, which isn't on this yet. And Abe, I believe you're making a contact with them, which could be a really neat component to this event. Do you have anything to share about that?
No, I followed the Twitter link that you had to the Plastic Oceans Canada subset. They have a umbrella entity that's a bit international. Looks like that component is based out of the US. I tweeted at them. I wasn't able to send them a direct message because of their profile settings, but I also went to their international website and did a contact us submission. I've not heard back from them yet. I'll keep harassing them this week. I'm good at that.
Awesome. That's what I need. Plastic Ocean contact, because they have a whole education already figured out. You know, they could be an absolutely incredible guest speaker for this event. And then they also have projects that they are needing to fund. So that could be NFTs. And they also, and transparency, we can actually show this. And then there was something else. Yeah, we could fund them with the NFT project. So if we could get that contact done, I feel like it would be a really good one.
Yeah, my experience from working with charitable entities from our stake pool so far is that there's a lot of risk aversion and apprehension, particularly in the blockchain space. So it might be a longer timeline to try to get them to come around, but I'm willing to work with the C4C group, and I know we're such a positive entity that hopefully we could overcome any apprehension with time. You know, I don't know that they'll turn around in a week or two and say, yeah, we're down for anything, but maybe in a few months.
Yeah, that being said, because I did start to write them, and I thought, you know, they don't know who I am, you know, and I'm talking about some blockchain thing, you know.
Yeah.
So we do, this is something we can work on as far as representing our Cardano for one, to outside communities. How do we do a write-up that's going to help succinctly identify that this is not Bitcoin, and we're not, we're actually considering, we're working towards carbon footprints. We're not in it to get rich. We're not in it to scam you. We're actually in this to do this right. So, you know, some sort of a write-up that has links, you know, to Christian's work on the carbon footprint of Cardano and the comparison between Bitcoin and Cardano, links towards the traceability, the immutability of blockchain, why blockchain, and how easy it could be. We don't see it being easy in Pike's case, but it could become that way in general for more people. Yeah, so that's a big piece. So thank you for reaching out to them, but let's maybe back up and figure out that letter. You know, what do we write? Any suggestions on that from my dear friends here? Yoram, you have this magical touch with reaching out to organizations. What do you do?
The key obviously is to find someone that knows, right? Someone, and then they know you, and then you. That's really the key. So I need to look. I started now to look. I'm sure we can find someone there, somehow through someone, and then you get an intro, and you get the call, and that's so that's normally the easiest way to do it, right? Where they are based, this organization?
This one, there is a chapter in Canada, out towards the East Coast. That's an ad that I clicked on. Where are you? We want
Had a number of Twitter accounts in different countries, so they seem to have pretty broad reach.
So what I really, you know, I started looking at them, and it's like, look at these blue communities. They actually have cleanup programs. So, you know, we were talking about this with Shlomo, right?
Yeah, so another way to approach them is basically say, okay, to show them the project the NFT project, and say that we are looking for an organization to finance, right? No one saying no to finance, basically. And so explain to them about Cardano and what we are doing, and then say that we are launching this NFT project, send them some examples, and we are looking for projects to finance through the sale of the NFT. That's another way to approach them, but need to get to the right person. That's always the challenging part.
Yeah, that's what I've experienced with our own stake pool. We've been communicating with an entity called Green Wave, who does regenerative kelp farming. And, you know, I reached out to them starting in the fall of last year. And, you know, we offered charitable contributions at first, and we've had a number of really good meetings with them. But, you know, it's onboarding them to what is blockchain first, and understanding that, you know, Cardano is green, and our heart's in the right place. And like I said, it's been 6 months so far working with them, and we're not across the finish line yet. So it's been a lot of persistence. And you're right, it's the right person who will give you the time of day and hear you out, and not just say no.
Yeah. So CEO, where's the city, Cape Town? Yeah, the CEO is in Cape Town. Anyway, yeah, this is the best way. I will look on all the team afterwards, and I will see if we can find someone that we connect to. I think that's the way to start somehow. To
Here,
find if we have any connection. Yeah.
I added the note to that. Oops, why am I in capitals? Sorry, I'm getting there we go. Yeah, thanks, Yorm, for jumping in on that. And Abe as well. Because I realized that, as soon as I was doing it, it's like, yeah, no, this isn't going to work for me to reach out. We need to do this the right way.
And Yoram and I
Yeah.
can connect offline and kind of strategize on how to approach it.
Yeah, I have a connection there. I think so. Someone. So yeah.
So
someone. Yeah.
great though that you're talking about donation, starting with donation too, right? That's something that I wouldn't have even figured out. But they do have a lot of education programs already. So
yeah, I will connect with Ebe after, and we will, as Ebe suggested, and we will form a kind of a quick letter and try to get a few different contacts. I think we'll get them.
Okay. I'm going to put your name on the tag too, Yoram.
Okay.
You are not on here yet.
What I wanted to say, we have 5 minutes until Damian, Shlomo, and Asaf coming in.
Okay.
So maybe we just give everyone an update what we want from them, and just so we can somehow decide what we want to discuss with them. Yeah, if it's okay, can we do that? Or
Yeah, no,
kind of...
let's do that, because we've got to figure out what their plan is for the NFT launch and how we can support them, and find out more about the projects that they're connecting with to the NFT launch. This plastic ocean, if we can fit that, maybe we shift that to speaking about that more with them and seeing if there's some sort of connections there.
Yeah. So the idea to do the launch on the 31st was ours, right? Not theirs. With
Okay,
Damian.
good. Yep.
No, I mean, we had a call with Damian. You remember Damian and us, and we kind of suggested that, and then we didn't have. I mean, we shared it with them, but we didn't have. So Damian is going to be here. So the idea, yeah, was to do a soft launch. Somehow give NFT to everyone that coming on to the call, to the meeting, right? So get NFT, and they can donate as much as they want, from 1 ADA to as much as they want for the NFT, right? That kind of was the general idea. And then we find an organization, like potentially the one we found, to give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of we do a soft launch around that and start collecting people. That was the idea behind that.
Okay, and so it's easy enough to change this date. Anybody that's already signed up, they get a notification that it's been changed. This was all tentative, more information coming soon. So I think, and this actually would be a good link to also send along with this communication to Plastic Oceans, because we have a connection here. Anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, so date-wise, now you're mentioning Twitter, Abe, and a soft launch. What does that mean in English?
Yeah. So if anybody is not familiar with Twitter Spaces, they're a meeting format on Twitter, open to the public. Anybody can basically hop in. A lot of entities in Cardano land are doing this from what I've seen. There's like Cardano over coffee each weekday morning. Christian with Shiftpool over at C4C does a bi-weekly Twitter space over the weekend. And they're just a less structured event. It's much more conversational, right? So there'll be a host or two, and it's not video, it's all audio. And they are very pleasant areas of community. And I guess in my mind, particularly for Alexa's sake, I had originally been thinking March and Women's History Month and everything. And if we find that a full meetup event for the plastics and Cardano needs a few more weeks to bake, maybe the Twitter space could be an option to hold on that 31st date still, and have it be, you know, maybe Alexa and maybe one other speaker on there. We need to identify a host and probably a co-host who would be available for that date and time. And it would also be a good opportunity for a soft launch of the NFT that you guys are talking about as well, because you know, you put NFT in the title of these Twitter space attention, right? We like to hop in because it's the hot topic right now in Cardano. Everybody's launching an NFT of some sort or another. So that would be a good way to start pulling people in. And if we moved the event back a few weeks, part of that change, like you said, through the email notification for anybody who signed up could also be, hey, in the meantime, still join us on Twitter in the 31st at this time, and we'll host a Twitter space to just have a more casual conversation.
Perfect. So
does that make sense? Is that English?
Yeah, it absolutely makes sense. So I can see doing that right here. We shift that, we leave this here and just say our main event is shifted to another link, and it's going to happen then. And this on the 31st at this time, we're going to be doing a Twitter space and a soft launch of this NFT.
Bingo.
I don't see there's any problem with that. Any ideas?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we thought to do, the question is how many soft launches we are going to have then for the event, because of the NFT. Because the idea was to make we can duplicate it. We can do in both of them, kind of still a soft launch of the NFT also.
Well, you can have
meetup,
a part 1 and a part 2, right? This is, you can continue the soft launch from the Twitter space until the actual event. There's nothing, instead of it being one day, you've got.
Then it's just advertising.
Yeah,
it's ongoing advertising.
2 weeks instead of, you know, depending on who shows up, right? And then it's like, oh man, it could actually be a better soft launch than a single day. Okay, so that'll be when Damian and Shlomo come back in to ask about that. So as far as Catalyst schedule, what are we looking at middle of April? There's 2 things that I'm concerned about. Number 1, we have a commitment to do an event every single month because we're funded. I don't know that we can include event number 3 in this.
No, I mean, on that sense, hey Shlomo, we funded for 3 events, right?
Yes.
First of all, and then we said 10 that we will do 10 events in 12 months in general. That was
10 meetups. 10 meetups, you mean?
10 events in 12 months. That was what we said is a goal. But we are funded for 3. So and we already did 2 of the 3.
But those don't count. As far as Nori mentioned, we can't backdate the funding for previous events. And the third one came right at the beginning of Fund 8. So I don't know, will we get our 3 events in during Fund 8? I don't know.
Look, anyway, we will try to make an event a month anyway, right? I mean, it's not regardless. So
okay, so I'm not going to worry about that bit.
I'll bet you could count the Twitter space as an event. I don't think, did you guys specify it has to be in a given format?
No, it's a good point.
Well, it is part of the same event in a way, but yeah, why not?
Good, so we have Damian and Shlomo with us. Asaf also said he will join, but is not here. yet, but it's fine.
So
Good.
So
Hey,
this,
Damian.
so the event we're tentatively talking about shifting the main event, Damian and Shlomo, to middle of April because we're squeezed for time. And we're thinking about, Abe has suggested a soft launch beginning with a Twitter space on March 31st. And then we take that soft launch from the 31st to the main event on April, middle of April, whatever day works. How would that, how do you feel about that, Shlomo, for one?
Say again, when in April again?
Sometime in the middle of April, we're shifting it 2 weeks into April, this main event.
Yeah, okay. Mid-April is okay with me. No problem.
Okay, good.
They're fine.
I think the Easter weekend is 16 or 17, right? Or something like that. So we probably need to do it before.
So, but the launch, the soft launch would actually begin at the end of March.
Yeah.
So it's going to
So-
actually be, instead of a 1-day soft launch, it's going to be a 2-week soft launch from a Twitter space, which is strictly audio. There's no pictures, no event, no description. There could be links, I assume, Abe, but there'll be a discussion about what we're trying to do with this NFT and why, and connecting it with plastics and Cardano. And then through those 2 weeks, we're going to be advertising, we're going to be talking about it, we're going to get steam rolling for a bigger event, and then our main event in the middle of April. So still you have Damian, you have something at the end of March with the release of the NFT, an NFT.
And I will just add, so the idea that we discussed between us with Damian, and then I updated a little with Shlomo and all of that, is that we kind of do a soft launch around the event, where we take one, Shlomo choose one of his artworks, and we give it kind of as a copy to all the people that participate, and they will need to donate from one ADA to as much as they want to plastic ocean related organization, and that will start kind of gathering the community around that. That was kind of the discussion.
Yes.
Does that make sense? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
that's we agree about this. That's okay with me. Sure.
Damian, it makes sense to you as well?
Yeah, I think it's a good way to start. Yeah.
So
Perfect.
it adds another layer though, because it's not going to just be people that show up at an event and we've got a list of names with these NFTs. Now we're talking about a platform to be able to sell these or to accept donations for these NFTs ongoing until the
for 2
other
weeks.
event for 2 weeks. So it adds another layer. Is that
It's even
doable?
better.
It is. It's incredible. So how does that work? Would it be they're advertised on the Cardano NFT marketplace? How does that happen?
I don't know, Damian, maybe you can help us
I
with
don't.
that.
Yeah, I think we can make in 2 ways. Yeah. Well, one way is to create a wallet, and then people can send ADA to that wallet, and then at the end of maybe in the main event they receive the NFT at the final of that period, or we can try to have a partnership with some of the NFT Pro or some of the platforms that have that systems to make something like this, and maybe they can help on the advertising too, or I don't know. But that I think that are the 2 different options. But
what's the second option, Damian?
Yeah, the second is to use some service like Buffybot or NFT Maker Pro or some of that services that you can use to sell or mint NFTs. And with the idea like a partnership, like they can help in the advertising too, part too, or we can make without that that kind of service, only making a wallet, and then we can receive the donations, and at the end we can see all the addresses that make donation, and then we can send the NFT to that addresses. I don't know. The second option with a service is maybe makes more advertise or something. I think if some of the platforms agree to make that for free or something like this, it's a good option. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, and
Okay,
it's also especially if there's a platform that's established. You know, I'm
Yeah.
thinking about scammers, like send me your ADA to this wallet, and that doesn't work for me. You know,
Yeah.
so having an established platform, the advertising is really awesome. What I'm wondering about is the expense of minting the NFT to begin with, and are we going to get a minimum donation that actually covers that first, and then the NFT is basically free with, and then there's no donation to but you know, I think that probably costs anywhere from 3 to 4 ADA to mint an NFT, correct?
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
Kareem?
I was on NFT Maker Pro because I'm working on a project, and I think it varies between 1 and 2. As far as I know, but Shlomo should know.
Damian would be the one that
Minting
knows.
costs.
No, I have no.
Damian is right.
Shlomo's the
Yeah, but-
artist, Damian's the NFT
Oh,
creator.
okay. So, okay.
Yeah.
Damian works with Shlomo.
Yeah, but
All I need to
Yeah,
know
what?
is the date. All I need to know is the date. Then I'll present a few samples. Then we choose one of them and we launch it. How are we going to do it? Well, you're the professionals, not me. I am the painter.
yeah,
The professional painter.
yeah,
Oh,
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Abe?
In my case, I made my own tool, and then I really don't know how much costs in that professional tools. But I can ask, for example, I chat really often with Buffybot, with Dean, because he was involved in Byte3 talking to, and then I can chat with Adam, or I can chat with the guy from NFT Maker Pro too. Yeah, I can
Nice.
ask both, maybe to see what is the ideas about this.
And-
So
But-
just to let you know, Damian, yesterday I was on the NFT Maker Pro website. Right on their website, they have a rate card, and depending on the volume, it goes. I think it starts at 2 and goes all the way down to 1 ADA. But if you're going to speak to them, they might offer a rebate or a discount, and I think that would be great.
Yeah.
And you can't launch it on 2 platforms, or can you?
That's a very good question, but I think when you do that, when you say 2 platforms, you mean 2 marketplaces, right, Melanie?
Correct,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, yeah, we
If
can
it's
launch
a-
it once on the Cardano blockchain.
No, there's,
It's,
because NFT Pro, is that the same as CNFT? I'm not that familiar with
They're 2
these.
different. There
No.
are several marketplaces.
Yeah, it's different. NFT Pro is only a service to minting or selling.
Which doesn't have the advertising.
Yeah, but they didn't have a marketplace. And Buffybot too. I think there is no platform that have a marketplace and a vending machine at the same time for now. The marketplaces are in the future, they will try to launch a vending machine, but the other services have a vending machine but didn't have a marketplace.
So this means that we have to mint it with one service and advertise it with a second service.
No, the main the service that made the minting always advertised too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. like for example, Buffybot that make the very three tokens minting, and then they are start to. Yeah, I think if we launch using two services will be difficult because they need to mint using the same policy ID, and they need to share that secret policy ID. I don't know if it is possible.
Okay, so let's not do that. So which one do you feel would be the most beneficial? When I hear Veritree, minted Veritree, I would say they're already popular with environmentalists.
Yeah, can I piggyback on that Veritree?
Sorry, Abe,
as well?
I've been ignoring your hand, trying.
That's all right. I want to be polite too. But my mind goes to Veritree as well. And you know, Christian with Shift Pool and the carbon neutral Cardano group, I think they did a lot of the back end for that. So I don't know that we need to reinvent the wheel. Maybe able to just reach out to Christian, and I think you mentioned
Damian
another
actually did.
contact there.
Damian actually did
yeah.
the NFTs for Christian's group. That's why
There you go.
we got him already. We got the inside
Perfect.
man.
Yeah, they
We got the
mentioned on
champion.
they mentioned on their general meeting yesterday very favorably of C4C's work and expressed that they wanted to work together more.
Yeah, they are wonderful. They are really those incredible synergies, and they are wonderful.
Okay.
And sorry.
So action plan. Damian, in the next, we've got 10 days before the Twitter space. Can we get some idea on what this will cost? If the Veritree NFT, whoever did that would make it, how much it would cost, and what this soft launch would look like between Twitter and the 50.
Will we only one FT, and we will send copies of that to everyone that sent minimum EDA or more. Okay. Now today I write to Adam and to talk about this. Yeah.
And the other thing, is it going to be a mint as bought, or are we going to have a release of a certain number of them?
Yeah, I think we can make both what we want. Yeah, because for example, that Adam makes like they make both in both ways. You can mint when any transaction comes in, they mint an NFT. Or I saw the last year that they made something like an auction or something like this, but it was not a real auction, but they accumulate a lot of transactions and then mint, and at some day everything together. I don't know. I think if we mint during the process where the transaction comes in, maybe the people that receive the NFTs publish that, and then make movement or make more advertising of that on that. And I think it's good if we mint during these 2 weeks. Yeah.
And is it worth doing two releases, one mint on demand and one limited? You know, that's going to be more expensive at the same time, right? This one is a limited number of them, and it costs this one along with it, because we're going to be introducing it to people that want to contribute, period. And we give them two options, one of just getting in, having the NFT, being part of this, and another one that says, I'm in, I want to see this happen, I've got an extra, couple $100. Is it possible to do two to complicate this more? Yoram knows me well enough that this is what I do.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Yeah, let me think about it, yeah.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't add stress, because if it adds stress, then it's not the right thing to do. Shlomo, how do you feel about this?
I'm sorry. Give me a minute. I've got a phone call here.
Okay, perfect timing.
Yeah.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Hello.
I think we need to think about how to how to block that some bad people makes a lot of transaction of the minimum or something like this. I don't know if that can happen, but maybe I know.
Okay, Shlomo, I'm sorry, I muted you. I muted you. You have to unmute yourself again. Can you do that? hopefully I didn't mess you up. Ask to unmute. Sorry.
Yeah, Asaf is also joining now. He didn't have the link.
I hope I didn't break your computer, Shlomo. There we go.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, anyway, what was the question? I'm sorry.
So how do you feel about having an NFT that's by donation in this soft launch, as well as a second NFT with a limited quantity that has a higher value at the same time? How do you feel about that?
It's okay. Well, yeah, no problem. I think we should start with something which should be, I don't know, one sample is unique, but the decision, what will be the price later on, after we see the results and the response to the first one, we'll be able to, I don't know, calculate what will be the right price for the next collection, a small collection, a big collection, doesn't matter. But we have, first of all, do the experience of launching the first one and see the reaction of the public.
Mhm.
Yeah. And sorry,
And
I want to
knowing-
apologize. Yeah, Asaf joined us.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah.
And knowing
Asaf, I
that
can't
this
see-
is a soft launch would be helpful as well, right? Because it's like, this is a soft launch. We don't know if this is going to fly or not. Yeah. So, and I wish that we could get involved in the password chaos that Gimbal Labs did, because they started an NFT launch with 100 ADA each, and it had a clock that times down, and it drops the price as you go over time, and I ended up buying one for 20 ADA, and the last few of them just flew out before the time ran out. But anyway, sorry, that's off the topic.
Yeah, but here we do a different model. So first of all, Asaf, sorry, I guess the time in Israel, and it's my mistake. I thought the time in Israel didn't change yet. I gave you.
It's going to change Friday night.
Okay. Anyway, so thank you for joining. So Asaf and Shlomo works together for everyone who doesn't know, and
Hi, Asaf.
So maybe with this, sorry, we're kind of jumping in all over the place here. Asaf, we've been talking about a soft launch from the end of March through a Twitter space, because we're feeling like to do this main event is not going to happen at the end of the month. And I need to turn on my, sorry, I need to turn on my power. My screen goes dim and then it shuts off. There we go. Okay, so soft launch at a Twitter space, end of the month for a full 2 weeks until our main event, middle of April. So it'll be introduced, the NFTs will be introduced, and we're talking now about mint as a person buys it, NFT, and another NFT with a fixed price and a limited number. So we're seeing if that might be possible for this soft launch. Any questions now that I've flown through catching you up? And you're on mute.
I've asked if it will be a daily Twitter space event.
This would be Abe's suggestion was
One time, I would think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and what are the other projects that we present? Where can I see the list? So Plastic Ocean, is it a few NFT collections or is just one?
So Plastic Ocean, sorry, I just put this up. I'm doing two things at once. We're talking about the NFT launch. And then the other thing that we've been talking about together was what are the projects that these NFTs are going to be funding? And in my looking into Plastic Oceans, the movie, I found that they have a website and they've got cleanup projects.
Oh, okay.
Donations. So that would be this beautiful connection that Yoram is going to be working on, trying to contact them convince them that we're not a scammer on a blockchain trying to use them. So he's going to contact them and see if maybe they could take part in our event.
Abe and myself are going to try.
Abe
Yeah.
and Yoram are
Abe.
going to see if they can take part in our event. And then maybe there's the connection with the projects that they need funding for. The NFT could be a direct, traceable contribution on the blockchain. And if that happens, we may end up, bringing Plastic Ocean on board to Cardano, recognizing how beautiful it is to work with blockchain.
Okay, but what I'm still missing is it will be just Apocalypsea or few
No.
other projects?
No, we've got other ones. So Apocalypsea will be a part of the program. The main program may actually be Plastic Ocean if we get them on board to do an education about why we need to clean up the oceans. We'd be connecting to Cardano for Cardano and Catalyst with projects cleaning up plastic or recycling them with the funding. So Plastics and Cardano needs to identify the problem and connect it to the Cardano blockchain.
I see.
And we're trying to do it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the NFT launch will be kind of it will be, I think, one of the nicest actions items out of it. So it will be kind of a wider discussion, and Apocalypse will be part of that.
Okay.
Which I think makes sense in this way.
We will do it all.
No.
Manifest our reality. This is Yoram. He always sets the bar too high, higher than I would expect, and we always jump over it. So,
Amazing.
but this also puts pressure on Damian a little bit, to get that end of stuff figured out. And Shlomo, I think you probably got some pretty amazing art for 2 NFTs.
Yeah, hope so. I just roll the dice and see what's coming up.
I will add something else. I think once Abe and myself, we write kind of the draft and starting to get everyone, I think also
Thanks,
the
Abe.
impact part of IOG and Cardano Foundation would also be very interested in that, I think. I think it's a nice topic. Anyway, we'll bring them on board as well, probably. So that's my feeling.
Okay, Abe's jumping off. We've got about 4 more minutes. I don't know about you guys, but I'm full on this. So
Okay, who is doing what? Let's see who is doing what. So
let's go back to the agenda. So this Plastic Ocean, Asaf, I don't know if you're familiar with them or not, but plasticoceans.org. Yoram's going to be contacting them on our behalf.
Okay.
And you'll see these projects. I'll spend some
I
time.
can read it right now.
Yeah. I'm going
But
to go ahead, Shlomo.
I'm not familiar with them, but of course I'll study them. All right, Plastic Oceans, right.
The beauty of this is that they have a platform, a website, they have projects, they need donations. We don't have to reinvent this. So to me, it's absolutely a perfect marriage.
Might be a joint venture, of course.
Yeah. And then
No doubt.
we help, especially because this movie and this is so significant. Support them somehow. Okay. So
Okay, I need to see this movie. I'll go to see it today on Netflix.
Please.
Yeah.
Don't.
Well, it's on the Netflix.
It's on Netflix. Plastic Ocean, and bring your wife, but don't bring your kids. Shlomo, maybe you can bring your kids. They're probably old enough to see this. But it's hard for.
My kids used to dive since there was really just walking and diving the same time, no problem.
Amazing. And it's changed too much. Maybe we can change it back for good. this is what we need
All
to
right,
be doing.
let's hope so.
Yeah, so Yoram, you're working on contacting this. Shlomo and Asaf, your
Yeah.
homework is to watch the movie, really hard homework, come up with a new NFT. Damian's going to be doing the work on the figuring out the NFT, and we'll be back in 1 week's time at the event planning. If we need another meeting before, just say the word and we're available for you.
All
Yeah,
right.
I think for Asaf and Shlomo, you're fine. I think Damian, we will wait for your feedback, and Evan myself will reach out. But yeah, it's basically, I think we are coordinated. Now it's just to get Damian feedback about how to do it, actually, the practical stuff, and us getting Plastic Ocean on board.
And then main event itself is an ongoing process of figuring out how we're putting those together. So that we'll deal with more next week, but I think we've got a really good start for today. So
Perfect.
in ending this
Okay.
on the top of the hour, how did it go, this meeting itself? Is there what is that in the events? It's part of our agenda now, and Nori has set this up, and I think it's actually really good. There is an ending part to this agenda. Anyways, how did this meeting go? Does it feel good? Did we do it?
Yeah,
Are we
okay.
missing anything yet?
No, not yet.
No.
Yeah, coordinating the time with Asaf because of the change of hours. So my bad.
It's
But
okay.
great to,
It happens again at the end of March now. Your time changes, right, Asaf?
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah.
In
But I think
Israel, it's Friday, I think.
but it's great to have everyone. Thank you very much for joining in the fast notice, Damian, Asaf, and Shlomo, and thank you,
All right.
Newman and Karim, and more people joining and coming on board. This is great. So it's important.
Very
event.
well.
And Asaf,
Okay.
thank you for showing up like this too. And then it's like, what did I miss? And then it's like, whoosh.
No,
Okay.
no one think, no problem.
Okay, good.
Thank you very much.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay,
Bye.
thanks,
Bye-bye.
Shlomo, Asaf, Damian, Newman,
Bye.
thanks for being
Thank
here,
you.
and Tyler as well with you and your wonderful children, the mushroom guy. We're
Yeah.
going to get this figured out. And Yoram, of course. In my screen, you're right in the middle, so that's really awesome. Okay, thanks
Thank
for
you,
being here, you
Melanie.
guys. Okay,
Thank
Yeah,
Thank you.
bye-bye.
ciao. And Yoram, okay, he's already off. Okay, good. Stop the recording.